So I'll be sharing about creativity, innovation, and experimentation. But of course, I'm afraid to continue without knowing, especially the audience. If it was a physical class, I would be asking, but still I will go ahead. Just help me type in the chat. If you're here and you're starting the business for, okay, you've just started a business for the first time, or you're just coming up with an idea, let me know. And also just type in the chat, and I will always be asking everyone. Maybe it may not be appropriate for you to unmute depending on where you're joining from, but we can use the chat so that we can be able to share. But I want to imagine that whoever is here actually is running a business or has an idea on how to start a business. Just put your fears in the chat if you're here and you're just coming up with an idea. And then I see how many of those ones are online that are running businesses. Emma said in the earlier introduction that I run a safari business, and we are going to look at creativity and innovation, but I had a of ideation first, because I really don't know who is joining without an idea, who is joining at an acceleration, who is joining at a level where he wants to just polish up his business. But you can revisit and see. Maybe I can talk about the motivation why to invest in an economy called Uganda and being able to do a business that I do. One, for the consultancy, because I had an opportunity to have knowledge in MOOPS. So I realized that is very important for me to pick that knowledge and share probably with the world in terms of consultancy, in terms of giving in strategic knowledge. But for the safari as well, specifically, there was a lot of gap in terms of when you look at statistics that show in Uganda, you realize 1.5 million arrivals that come in Uganda, and there are not so much critical mass of tour operations, companies that are probably serving, the guests that we are here to receive or that we receive. But also specifically, the sector looked very lucrative, and that one helped me to build the passion for travel, the passion for hospitality as a business. And here we are. Started like 3 years ago. We are making years in business since the incorporation. But the beauty is, you look at far and wide how we've moved, you're like, okay, I think this is something sustainable. And I want to carry the same hope and encouragement to all of you. So if we are here and we are talking about creativity, innovation, experimentation, I want us to draw back to something called ideation. And the outline for our discussion today, we are going to look at ideation. What is ideation? How can ideation probably help your business, you ideate better? People are struggling with their businesses because actually they didn't really think through their ideas. That's why they are not even sure. They are not even confident to say, I think I should drop this idea. I think I should change the business. But the business model is already running, it's not working, and actually it doesn't know where the problem was, probably was on ideation. So ideation, we're going to look at what it is, and later we shall look at a sample of an ideation tool, maybe which can help you to go back to your ideas, to go back to your businesses and refine. When I came to office, I was telling my friend David, he was staying a little bit longer in office. I told him, what if we just think of creating this as a think tank, as a hub of coming up and disrupting all the innovations, all the ideas in the tourism sector? Because you realize some of the business models are not working. The world is fast-paced in terms of trends. But what is the ideation process behind your business model is what I want to talk about. So we want now to go back to the, we expect come up with your need. What's the need that you're trying to solve in business? So this is the small outline in this 1 hour we are going to talk about, but I wanted us to have a very, very interactive session. I need to know also maybe 3 volunteers to tell me what businesses are they running, or what business do they want to do in case they are there. Maybe let me begin with Margaret. Margaret Tukwase, if you can type in the chat, or if you're able, if you can unmute your microphone and share with us what type of business are you running before we dive into the into the deep dive. Okay, Masambo he runs Bytewave Investment SMC Limited. It's an ICT and multimedia consultancy. That's, I think, Emma. Margaret, what business are you running, or you want to run? I run a bag craft making business. Thank you, Mariam. Then Letitia, Nabulia, then also Sharon Kasaija, Semakula, Brenda, and then Naomi, Francis, or Patrick. If you also want to share, you can share. But I'll start with these two. Emma is running an ICT hub or business that is trying to maybe build technologies and support MSMEs. Then Margaret runs a small business. Runs a bag crafting making business. Mrs. Bato, I run a crochet business. We specialize in warmwear and baby safe toys. Okay, now the issue is when you look at the background of your businesses, what was the concept behind your idea? What is it? And number two, before even you thought of your idea, what's the vision actually for the idea that you want to create? Because if you don't, I don't know if you can see my screen, your idea is like that light, like that bulb light, you know. I would want to start a stationary business, and maybe others as well. The question is, what's the concept behind your idea? What's the concept behind Emma starting a business that's going to support in technology? Maybe he saw a big opportunity or a big gap or a need. I'm just thinking loud. But when you talk about Naomi having a crochet business where she's trying to make, you know, such amazing, you know, artwork as toys, probably for, you know, the young babies that can actually use them. What's the idea? What's the concept behind the idea? Is it going to light the world? So before I bring in statistics, you realize that we are dropping our ideas because we didn't think through, because we rushing, or we are not motivated enough. And I want us to, if you're having a notebook, I just want you to draw a Venn diagram of 3 sets crossing, intersecting each other. Remember the set theory where you draw a circle, then intersecting another circle, then another third circle. That's what I want you to draw. I'm imagining you're drawing if you have the pen and the paper. And in one of the circle, you put their passion. Put their passion. Then in the second one, you put their knowledge. And then you can just shade the intersection, but in the third circle of your set, you put their profitability. And of course, I want to imagine that we are Christians, and we are born again, who believe in God, who believe in Christianity, but also creating value called a business that's going to support probably the world. I will also just bring you into the Bible creation. Of course, when you read the Bible, you'll see that the Bible says that we are the light of the world. But how are you going to light the world if you're not actually passionate about light you're talking about? You know, so I want us to now imagine what you've just drawn. Number one, if you're running a business and you're not passionate about it, you'll not wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. to build for that business. It will be so hard for you to build that business model if your passion is the passion that they're going to remind you about. And of course, this is why also as Christians, we need to be very, very careful about the Holy Spirit speaking to you about a certain business. Also first, of course, you can't question the Holy Spirit, but you need to be guided, of course, in the mystery of life, in the realm of meeting God to speak to you about a business that you want to do, I want you to consult God as well. Is it actually something that you're passionate about, that you're going to leave every single night to come and build? Number two is the knowledge. Do you have some of the knowledge? If I asked you, why is it that there are not so many people that have said that they're running a business, probably in the ICT sector? Maybe because Emma now has, he has knowledge, he has the tacit knowledge in terms of coding, language, programming, AI. He knows now, he's now talking about big data, about Internet of Things, talking about Python, and he's going to using data and technology to make something over there. He has the knowledge. So if Emma's knowledge is followed by passion, he's going to bring the next biggest company in terms of building technologies for SMEs across the world, not only Africa or Uganda. So another thing that you need to look about is that how profitable actually is this going to be? Because we are not going to run charity. Because even now, of course, the Bible will tell you, of course, to get some money and give to the job of the world, Christ as well, in terms of tithes, and you're not going to tithe from that. No. Profit moving forward. So I wanted you to just think through about that. And if you're there running a business, I want you to always ponder about passion, knowledge, because they are going to drive you. They are going to drive growth. So if today we are looking at the concept of ideation, look at how creative you're going to be, and experiment. I want you to think about that. And it's going to take that kind of step moving forward. So our ideas that we are building should be able to change the world, to ignite the world, but also number one, to passionately first do what? First inspire you as a person, first inspire you as the entrepreneur. Today, of course, the guys that are running the world, you ask them, but let me first speak from those ones who are in Uganda first. When you look at the Gordon Wavamunos trying to revolutionize let's say, the automobile industry, we're talking about guys like Patrick Bitature going into Simba Telecom. Right now, he's into hospitality. He has the Marriott, has the Skies. He's also into real estate now. Aga Sekalala Jr., the guys are, senior, they're building the next, of course, industry in the chicken world. The guys have Yuga Chick poultry breeders serving the entire East African market and having the best. I think they have stood the test of time, close to 25, 30 years of doing business into the poultry sector. We are to name them here in Uganda. And then when you cross, of course, you move outside of Uganda, you go in the region, you try to see the guys in Nigeria, the Tonelo Mills of the world, trying to support. You ask them what makes them really think like that it could change the world. And of course, when you cross over and then probably go to the United States, where actually someone should know, why do ideas in the United States, even the dumbest idea, is polished to be like this light? Americans bet on hope. Americans bet on hope because now they have like the Silicon Valley where they just bring ideas and they make the venture capitalists believe that if they could fund those ideas, the guys that are having the ideas have the passion already. Maybe what they lack is probably capital. If you go to San Francisco, if you go to Los Angeles, guys are going to just ask you the way I asked you and the way Emma is trying to fight every single day for guys to come and actually get the knowledge in entrepreneurship. He could not be doing that. In the US, everyone goes and is having an idea and is looking just for venture capitalists, talking about an angel investor to give him a seed capital of $500,000 or $1 million. And actually, the guy doesn't even know he's investing $1 million, whether that idea will light up the world. And eventually it does. That's it. But now here, you have an idea, you're looking for someone who to invest in it, even yourself, you're not believing in it because you don't feel passionate enough, not actually going to make it any far. So when you talk about the concept of ideation, it's going to take this kind of life. What is ideation and what should guide you? Of course, Uganda, you know very well, the economy is backed by agriculture or agribusiness. And of course, if you want to build a business very first time, of course, anyone would think because of the food, every Ugandan wants to eat food. It's something that can be locally sourced easily. Probably you can think like that. But before I come to the sustainable development goals, to help you think, because they should really help you get the focus we are talking about ideation is defined as the process involved in generating ideas, gathering information on ideas, and collecting thoughts about those ideas. Ideation is used to make improvements to existing products or services, in addition to generating new ideas. So even Emma, who is running already his hub or his company, he should actually go back and question the status quo. Am I on the right every single day? Of course, when we come into business modeling, we will look at the business model canvas where we'll have a flexible business model. Every single day you wake up to your company and look at your business model and like, are we really making sense? Haven't customers shifted because of what? Maybe because of COVID, maybe because of the war in Ukraine and Russia, maybe because of the war in Gaza, and maybe Israel, because of the war. If not, it's okay. But about the value proposition, hasn't the value proposition changed because of the market trends, because of the pricing models, because of the quality where you're sourcing your products? Hasn't partners moved and shifted? Hasn't probably the customer relation shifted? So those are some of the things that we need to talk about. So if you're in this session and actually the entire, you should be able to take stock of good ideas, knowledge, and stuff like that. So Emma, thank you so much and the team, Francis and everyone, for thinking about like this. Because when you look at the Tower of Faith alone should be used actually as an anchor point for us to grow the next future leaders in business. We can't just grow leaders probably in the politics world. We need to grow leaders in the business world because they are going to solve the real challenges and the real solutions. So that's how we're going to use ideation probably to think through. But specifically, I wanted us to first look at the global agenda, the global goals. The world is talking about the Sustainable Development Goals. We are closer, 2030, I think there's 4 years to go. So in 2015, the world sat probably in the US, I think that was New York or Washington, and they said, okay, we should guide the world like this because we need to not live in one. What we need to do is, number one, no poverty. So you don't know how many businesses that can be anchored on goal number one, just ending poverty by 2030. I don't know if it's going to be ending. Number 2, zero hunger. Number 3, good health. I didn't hear someone talking about maybe he wants to invest in health, public health as a business, something also very critical. Or quality education, maybe you can start a nursery school or a kindergarten or an education center. Gender equality as a goal. Then goal 6 talks about clean water. Goal 7 talks about affordable and clean energy. Clean energy, let me speak about clean energy as well. There are some specific ones I should talk about. Clean energy talks about investing in renewables, clean cook stoves, and then of course the world is talking about renewables as well. These are areas where you can pick ideas, decent work and economic growth. Goal number 9 talks about industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Goal 10 talks about reduced inequalities. You know very well that the levels of poverty in our country called Uganda, the rich are very rich and the poor are very poor. And these are some of the things maybe you can build businesses, not only actually profit-making business, but also maybe those businesses that are probably for the social good, social enterprises, but with a profit-making kind maybe of a motive, but not so much 100% profit. Then sustainable cities. I think now you're talking, this is very, very good. Goal 11, when you look at what's happening in Kampala today, there is a debate. They want to close that Nakivubo channel. And I think there's one of the, probably an investor in Uganda, whom you know very well. I think he wrote to the president a proposal, and then the president said, okay, go ahead and probably do that. And close it, put it there. I'm not saying it's a bad idea or a good idea. And when you talk about sustainable cities, the flooding in this country, the dirty things and stuff like that, if it's true, because they have the artistic impression over there. And now, if you're there and you're like, okay, how can I even contribute to sustainable cities and those ones who travel, you've been able to see that communities that are resilient. You've been in the US, you've been in the UK, you've been in Nairobi, you've been in Rwanda, maybe those other cities that are coming up. What kind of businesses actually are being revolutionized to push for this agenda in the SDG world? Then responsible consumption, namely climate action. So I would expect someone actually to build a business actually linking or anchoring them to the sustainable development goals. So if you're thinking about agribusiness, you need to think about all the SDGs. Life below water, maybe those guys that are into fishing and aquaculture. Life on land, maybe into forestry. Peace, justice. Of course, this one could talk about maybe building, businesses or consultancy firms that are going maybe to host communities or to support communities that are being faced with war and refugee centers. And lastly, partnerships. I want to also talk about partnerships.
Mr. Kagaba, you're off. I don't know if you could be talking, but you're off. You're off.
I don't know where you stopped hearing me, Emma, but I think I just went off. I don't know why, but I can.
You're having a
Emma,
network problem. I think you're not having a network problem, but you had ended on the, I think on the what, sustainable cities. You're trying to explain something, and from nowhere you
oh,
went off.
okay. Maybe let me just switch my internet now. The fact that power is back, I can just switch my just 1 minute, and I switch my internet to.
It's where.
Okay, yeah. Let me. Okay, I'm on a better resilient network. Yes. Can you hear me now very well?
Very clear. Very clear.
Okay, so yeah, I was talking about sustainable cities. So you could have an idea, maybe now look at Kampala. I don't know whether you're happy with Kampala. I don't know whether you're happy with your next city, which is Mukono. I don't know whether you're happy with your next town, the businesses that are there. I really don't know whether they make you happy. Probably you could think through and say, okay, can't I build an idea? Actually, not even dropping the ideas that you're having. The ideas that you're having, I don't know whether my screen is back, Emma. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So when you look through that, I talked about now climate change. People, I see so many people coming up with ideas and they're anchoring them on solving some real problems and solutions that can actually solve such problems in the community. Life below water, guys are into fishing communities and actually having sustainable fishing kind of project. Life on land, guys are going into forestry. Of course, this is some businesses that are going to take more years, not from now, but build your business. You're not in a rush. You can actually get funding, even if you're going to probably build a forest and be able to reach out to guys that are going to buy the timber later, probably 10, 5 years from now. So those are some of the things that I wanted to talk about. But I wanted also to bring it home if you're going to ideate better. I want you also to see where is also the national priority as well, because that's where now also the funding can come from. Now, guys are talking about the tenfold growth strategy. They want to grow the economy by 10%, tenfold for the next 15 years. And of course, they want to double the GDP. I don't know whether it's possible. It's a bit outrageous, it's a bit ambitious, but what are the anchoring sectors the guys want to talk about? Guys are talking about agro-industrialization. So I would expect if someone is building his business here, think about investing in agribusiness because that's also the national agenda, the national development plan.
Hi, Doro.
And I would encourage, yes, Emma.
Good evening. How are you? Mm. The session has started. I don't know if you're in position to join.
Okay. Emma, maybe it's talking. I was talking about
I'd left
the
my,
national
my
strategy.
mic on. Sorry. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
your
follow
mic was
up
on.
people to be part of the session. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So I was talking about the national agenda right now. Of course, as a Ugandan, of course, and as of course, if you're preparing also for New Uganda, of course, these are some of the things that are going to still to be in place probably for the next 5 years. And if you're looking at that, the tenfold growth strategy is going to be anchored on the 4 sectors, close to 5 sectors. Number one is agribusiness, agro-industrialization. So if you're just thinking about to start now, for those who are running businesses, it's very okay. But you listening carefully, probably also your business fits in that probably in the under the ATMs, ATMS. Number two is tourism development as well. So if you're maybe you have a small guest house in Kampala. Okay, house, how can you turn it into probably into a hospitality center? Maybe where you can offer accommodation to travelers or to people that are coming to do business. Or actually you can invest maybe in a restaurant, bit of it, or hospitality center. Now, that is the T. Then the M is, of course, the mineral development. Of course, the mineral developments at a national level, the guys are mining oil and stuff like that, minerals. There, probably you can just position yourself to see if you can actually start businesses that can enrich maybe the guys that are in the East African oil crude pipeline project, Albertine region, if you're coming from the areas of Hoima. How are you going to position yourself to probably invest? You can start a small business by targeting the ECOP, the Tilenga projects, the Kingfishers, to see if you can actually do business, because that's where the government also wants to probably see its future. And that's where investors and whoever is coming with business mind is you need to invest. Lastly, the science, innovation, and technology. Of course, those of Emma building their business hubs in IT support and stuff like that. That's something. And for you, an entrepreneur, if you're on call today, you should also look at the national priorities if you're ideating, be creative and innovative around. So I'm not saying that other ideas actually are not, but that's the national focus. So if you're talking about funding, partnerships, investment, bringing investment closer, opportunities that can help you, probably you can actually think like that. But the most important thing I wanted to draw the international agenda of the SDGs, the Sustainable Development, and also the country Ghana. It can actually help you. So bringing it back to class now, ideation can be both applied internally and externally. And for ideation, when is ideation used internally? Businesses seek to gather ideas from their employees who work on and develop the products and services. So if you're here and the business is already running, don't break your heart, don't break your back. You can actually just gather meetings every single Monday. You're telling guys to disrupt. What are the new ideas that we can work on? I'm talking about if you're doing a business with a colleague or a friend, like 2 people, you can have a meetup. Now, for some of us who are having a business of more than 10 employees, I lock them up here and we think together. And that's where even we had to come up with some innovations that we are trying to do. I've told Emma about them, writing grants, positioning ourselves as a grant from UCC, which we got. And it came as a result of us, sitting back. It's around 330 million. Last week, we were signing the grant contract, and it's now under witnessed by the Solicitor General, and we are going to digitize MSMEs in the tourism sector, in the areas of Bwindi and Chivale. So these are some of the things that you need to do on your ideation. So if you're talking about creativity, actually we started as just a tour and travel company. Someone may think we are trying to only do tours alone, safari, but now we are going now into digitization. I think it was Patrick yesterday or the other day, a gentleman who presented, and he talked about disruptive innovations. If you're running a business and you're not going to disrupt every single day, we are not going to talk about disruption only in technology or ICT. You can just leverage and disrupt on the way you do things. So that's ideation, and that's how you're going to be creative. And internally, you can actually use probably the businesses that are thriving and running and they're having workers. You can actually ask guys to give you feedback. But ideation is also used externally. Businesses usually target their pool of existing customers. This is who knows their product better than those who actually use it. Now, this is for whoever is here. You want to invest, or you're already investing. And Emma, let me give you an example. Let me use an example of Emma or Naomi, for example. Naomi, today, if you actually want to ideate better and actually come up with better solutions actually for your already thriving business, just give opportunity for customers to review you and actually give you feedback. You ask them, they will even tell you, I was in this place and I saw the way they were doing things, they were doing ABCD. So you realize actually customers are giving you even better ideas to rethink your business model. Only that some of us, when we start businesses, we don't want any other person to think like us. I mean, they should think on their own and they should not really come and probably help you. But I can give you an example of a world-class company like Google. Google, I don't know if I asked you, what does Google produce? Because the CEO of Google, every single day, tells these guys, how can we be the best search engine in the world? And that's why you see Google is ranking high, even when you look at the stock market, everyone invests in Google. every time Google is coming up with new ideas, but just a search engine. But there are other search engines, the Mozilla Firefox, the Bing. I don't know whether you last used any other, which is not Google. And even before generative AI and artificial intelligence came in, if anyone would say, what is the difference between these? Someone would say, ask Google. Ask Google. Now Google is actually going to revolutionize better. And I think you also know that it has a generative AI technology called Gemini. But I think they are the biggest leaders of artificial intelligence because they were having data on everything in the world before the guys actually revolutionized intelligence. So there's nothing, actually no one beats Google right now. There's Google My Business, Google Workspace. Emma, you know all these things. And I think also, Emma, after ideation, I would ask that innovation, that to talk about technology as an enabler of a business. We are not going to build businesses in Christ when actually we are not leveraging on technology. The way we communicate, the way we work, gone are the days where people are working and the boss is not seeing. People are working in Google My Space, people are working in Google Docs. So there is no blame games. There are no excuses moving forward. So those are some of the things. Customers that are existing can give you better ideas, and you can be creative, you can be innovative. So why? Customers have knowledge to provide businesses with ideas on product improvement at most external ideas actually come from the customer. So moving forward, I don't know how much time I'm left. How can ideation benefit your business? Even those ones who are running businesses. In this bootcamp, I want you to take stock of every session and see. We discussed with Emma what to put in, what not to put in, and he explained it in the beginning that this is a bootcamp. It's like an innovation express. You're not going to hear everything, but just something to trick your mind to go back to work, to go back to better your projects. So ideation is one of the most necessary components of a business strategy. And if you don't have a process for ideation, it's unlikely that your business will see constant improvement, and it will therefore be unable to deliver what your customers actually want. Even right now, I suggest that you go back and actually question the status quo, maybe from clients or internally, asking yourself or your colleagues that you're working with. And this should be the way to go. That's why today, if you look at the biggest, let me say biggest telecom in the country, which is MTN. In 2009, there was something called mobile money. And they just went to Kenya and just imitated that technology from Safaricom, from M-Pesa. So right now, of course, law that is regulating mobile money in the country has just told them Airtel Money and MTN, they are now separate entities from the main businesses of MTN Uganda and also Airtel Uganda. And when you look at the financial statements of MTN and Airtel, mobile money fetches them a lot of money. But I want you to remember very well in 2010, Bank of Uganda fought mobile money business in this country. They thought it's not going to have any space. And even not so many Ugandans actually could register on mobile money. But right now, who tells you that any single Ugandan doesn't know how to use mobile money, or to send money, or to receive money, or to transact? If you have money on the phone, you can even send it to your bank and vice versa. So these guys were able to think through, and I challenge you to think, do you think MTN now makes money on data with the lot of fiber networks that have come? Do you think they make a lot of money on voice bundles? Do you think they make a lot of money on selling gadgets and the devices? No, they are making money just on a transfer called mobile money, and that's where they are getting a lot of money. So generating ideas will improve your products, of course. If you're here and you're bringing new ideas in the business model, they're going to help. Generating ideas for future products as well and service development is going to be very, very important. That's why you look at the aviation industry. Let me take you a little bit far from you, the usual business ideas that you're having. Just see today, those ones who fly, checking in is online. The way you buy airlines tickets, the way you buy visas, maybe those embassies that just require you to go and maybe take the biometrics and they take you, but every single thing now is digitally. So, I mean, you got to fly, but when you checked in like 6 or 10 hours ago, so there is no way you will again rush through when you're entering into check-in, and that's now in the travel business alone. Look at education today. See where we are. Imagine if someone didn't think about Zoom, and actually people thought Zoom came in 2020. So Zoom had actually existed since 2015. That's when the guy actually came up with the Zoom idea. But see where we are. I don't know even where you're joining. you know. But we are having a communication. Just look at the tele-education alone, you know, and now this bootcamp is going to thrive probably on online engagements. Of course, later we shall have those check-ins that are going to be physical, but just see how audible, how you guys, we can even take you in rooms, we can even take you in the breakaway sessions, and actually you can even later have a discussion, and then you come here and present stuff like that. So customer engagement as well. So engage your customers through this ideation. Tell them, where can we change? And also accept feedback from these customers. You're going to see that customers even later have loyalty moving forward. So this ideation methodology is a creative entrepreneur or an innovative entrepreneur. I'm employed to conduct research. I want to push you to the field to conduct research before even you invest that money to secure to do business. Please, if you've already run and you didn't do this stage, it's okay. But I want you now, as you're rebuilding your business model, go back to research. Ask customers directly. Have the post-action feedback forms with you. And then later, you can also have an online community forum probably where you can ask customers. But I want to talk about conducting research and how it looks like. I thought of a business idea called Tutti Fruit Juice. And if Naomi and I, we want to build a business of fruit juice, and maybe we bring it to church, maybe just because now we are fasting for 40 days. But let's say maybe every Sunday, I and Naomi, we have a juice center there, like a juice center where you can take all the juices, pineapple, mango, name it, you know, but fresh, organic with no sugar. And then, you know, for guys after church, they can probably grab and maybe, and of course, this is also the of the Tower of Faith business. We're going to have a business suit up there. But just imagine I and Naomi and maybe Patrick and maybe Francis, we have this business. And we start making these juices and we just put sugar and then bring, and then we start to sell. Yeah. And imagine what kind of feedback is going to come from church. Or think about any community, not even church. So I thought about bringing this idea and then bring it as a case study. And then we try to test the ideation tool and how it works. I'm going to send, of course, these notes as well, but also I have good tools that I will share on how to really do these ideas. But in the ideation tool, you need to ask a question like, what do you like most about this product? Imagine we were making juice with Naomi and Francis, and then, but when they are selling it, maybe we give it as a customer test product or a launch, and then we are asking this question. What do you like most about our product? Like, just I know it's diluted and that's the honest feedback. Then another question. Okay. Would you consider switching from another product to this? Are you maybe okay? Where do you buy your juice? Maybe that question comes. Like, maybe from there we have some subscribe, and then you ask them, would you be considering switching from him to us? And then like, yeah, maybe. And what's that maybe if you can prompt, ask more. Then when is the last time you use a similar product? Like, you realize that one doesn't frequently buy juice. How easily can you access the product? And you're asking them like, how easily? I would love to be at home and maybe they're delivering, maybe if I can visit, I don't know, but it's giving you actually answers about your product. For you thought just bringing it to church would be the only way to access, but again, you can actually maybe do delivery. Then how much would you be willing to buy the juice? It's done, but remember now for us, we are pricing at 10,000 because it's cocktail. Fruits are sourced from America, from South Africa, but the customer is telling you can only buy at 500 or 1,000. You know, Auntie Alinga Munana Sisokat, for me, I think, no, I can buy it at 1,000. But for us, we came with our own price, 5,000. Then which complementary products would you use along with it? You know, if it's packed very well, you want to use plastic because I'm very eco, you could pack it maybe in bamboo. In bamboo? Now the guy is telling you customers are not going to go well with you packing it in plastic because it's going to be like waste for them. And they are not ready to take in the plastic waste anymore. And they are telling you to do something more sustainable and more eco. And would you recommend this product to other people? I would have, but most of my friends probably they are diabetic, so they don't take juice. Maybe they don't take sugars, and so maybe if you do organic without sugar, what do you think should be done to make the product more appealing? Maybe if you have blue juice, maybe if you can add some and it looks like blue, because all the juice is yellow, and for me, I don't like the color yellow and red. And then you're like, which products, which ingredients can we put and makes this juice blue? But you know, those are just answers I'm giving you. But have you ever sat down and like, my project, I'm going to ask this question to the client. Then you ask them which alternative to consider. For me, bongo. You're like, okay, we can also make bongo. So people also ask for the bongo. It's an alternative, but which you can actually also do. And how often do you use it? What are the reasons behind you using it? You know, buying the juice, and it tells you why. I pack it for my kids. Go to school. I have 4-3 going children, so if I can, and I can't go through the hassle, excuse me, of buying juice. So if I have a supplier, reliable supplier, good and authentic, organic, tested, standardized juice, I can buy for my. Then how much and how do you pay for it? Then it tells you. Now you're asking now for where he buys the alternatives. Then he's telling you we pay by mobile money. And where you want cash, then you know, okay, we shall integrate mobile money in the way we do. And so lastly, what do you think should be done to give you more value for money? For me, if I can make sure that I know the traceability, because I want to know, was this juice really from avocado from Masaka and it's organic and it was kept well and it was made. So not so many times actually we go through these things, and now you realize you're missing a point in the market. People are giving you feedback. It is costly again. You're already in the middle of production and stuff like that. So that's how best we can actually create and make some of these things move forward. So in conclusion, just share something if time allows. Okay, so we know that customer community maximizes the benefits of ideation, but unfortunately, not just any community will do. So therefore, engage your target customers for better business ideas. And I implore you, those ones who, for example, now, I think it was Naomi or, no, not Naomi, I think it was Sharon who is running actually Barcraft making business. I don't know who your target market is, but if you're targeting, for example, now for us, we are in tourism and you want to make for us good craft, authentic, organic bags to give to our customers as probably souvenirs and fabric, what could be the question that actually you would want us to help you with? Or if you're targeting government agencies that are having conferences for its delegates, and then you're putting in the market as well. So those are some of the things, you know. And when you're going through this ideation, you need to be very open-minded. Remember, you're not inventing any wheel. Everything that you want to do has been done in the world. The issue lies in your niche and in your creativity and adding value. So today, as an entrepreneur, we are talking about someone who has come up with an idea, you're risking capital, mobilizing resources. But the most important thing, you must add an innovation. So the ideation tool is going to push you into an innovation agenda and angle to be better.